Hello, I'm Michael Lathrop with the CoFL Network. I'm with Manny Matsakis to get a state of the Continental Football League.
Hey, how we doing, Michael?
I'm well. How about yourself, Manny?
Oh, fantastic. A lot happening and excited to talk about the league and everything that's going on around here.
Looking back on the inaugural season, what were some of the biggest challenges the league faced?
Well, I think ideally when I look at the challenges we had with the league, first and foremost, it was just starting from scratch, being brand new. That's always going to be a challenge because there have been dozens of attempts at doing something like similar to this over the years past. I think as we look at there's a lot of pluses. There's a lot of things we learned from this experience. And it's very simple to say, hey, if we all start much sooner and have more ramp up time, it makes it a lot easier to be successful. And I think that's the primary thing I learned.
What were some of the biggest surprises, both good and bad, from year one?
Well, I think the biggest surprise was, hey, here's a league that hadn't existed since the 1960s. We're sitting here in a position where we actually played games. We put them up on the UFM network. I thought that YouTube channel was helpful just to get it out the gate. I think being out there on that and tripling the number of subscribers they had during the time we were broadcasting there, what was a great surprise to me. I think the other thing just moving forward was the amount of attention that something that a year ago right now wasn't even in the planning stages. So this wasn't even a concept till sometime in mid-August where we started thinking, hey, we'd like to take a look at this, and didn't really start getting people on board until mid to the end of September.
What did you learn this season about building competitive balance between teams?
Well, I learned quite a bit. And then as I'm talking to the other owners of the teams, I felt that everybody was very isolated in the way that they built their teams. That's something we're definitely going to switch up this year so we can get a lot more parity. Just one team might be structured totally different than another, the amount of people working on it, just the location they were in, the ability to really get things moving. But I think as I look at things moving forward, that is just something that we learned, right? So I'm looking at, okay, how can we make this thing better? Well, parity is a big piece of this. And having the same things like, hey, everyone's got the same salary cap. We did not have a salary cap. We had recommended amounts that you could pay your players. Nothing was really locked in. I think that will make a big difference. Some of the early parts of putting a roster together were thrown by the wayside because of the urgency of just, hey, let's get a team onto the field. So we let some of that stuff go. So those are some things that I'll be working with owners on so we can get things codified to move forward in the right direction.
Can you explain the Continental Shift rule and why you believe it creates more exciting games?
Well, the rule in and of itself is, hey, what can we do to differentiate ourselves from other professional football leagues? And experience that I personally had coaching in Canada, and our former commissioner, Mike Kelly, from coaching up there himself for a very long time, we had come up with a system like, hey, let's modify the Canadian rules, put that and make it a more exciting opportunity in the fourth quarter where you can get some comebacks. We could also feature what we're doing to the teams in the Canadian Football League, which actually worked. But there's a bit of modification that I'm planning on moving into this 2027 season.
How did fans respond to that rule change?
Well, it was interesting, Michael. Fans, at first, we got two divergent things. Oh, this is not what we're used to, oh, this could be pretty interesting. So it's very different. And then as I've gone back and watched and listened to the broadcasters during that time, I'm realizing they didn't have a complete understanding of what it is that we were trying to do. They would just make comments of, early in the year, it was like, I don't know about this. Even the comments we were getting from our own commentators during the broadcast was like, I'm thinking to myself, what in the world? What do we say? This is our league. We should be promoting this. And then as the season went along, they're like, oh, hey, this is pretty cool. A team's behind. They could do some things differently. And I think all in all, certainly something to build off of. And we do need one. That's one of our differentiators. And I think that fans see that. And as we get better at executing it from a coach's perspective and a broadcast perspective, I think it's something that will be off the charts moving forward.
How many teams are you targeting for the 2027 season?
I would say this right now, it's more looking at the geography of this. It's not like we don't have a lot of potential ownership groups out there, but the big thing is I look at what we're targeting. Ideal world, you want 4 teams in a division, and 4 teams in a division give you the opportunity to play 8 regular season games. And it's not uncommon in the Canadian League. When I was up there at Winnipeg, we played Montreal actually 5 times in one season, 1 preseason game and 4 regular season games. So it's very doable knowing that actually happens. You see it in arena football where they're playing back to back. There's all types of examples of that. So I think 4, 5, or as many as 6 in a division, somewhere in that ballpark. But right now we're looking to let's get the 4, and then we'll move forward from there.
What type of owners and markets are you specifically looking for?
Well, when I'm looking at the type of owner, right? Type of owner is somebody that really cares about their community. We can't have an absentee owner. We've noticed that's certainly something that doesn't work. So we want somebody in the community, somebody cares about their community and has the wherewithal to put together a Continental Football League team. Now, what that means, wherewithal, it could be somebody with enough money in there to say, hey, I can fund this thing. Or it could be somebody like, hey, I've got a network and people we can work together to make this go. Because that's what we've noticed with the teams that were able to get through this past season is, all right, they were one of those 2 models. They had a lot of assistance, or an owner fronted a lot more than some of the others. But there are multiple models to look at. We just need somebody that loves the opportunity of being in the only outdoor professional football league in the summertime in the United States. So I think that's a great opportunity as I'm looking at the type of owner. The other piece of it is, as far as markets, we know right now we have 3 solid markets down in Texas. So we definitely are looking at one more, would like to get one closer to Midland, which that could differentiate some things and give them more of a rival as opposed to where things are located. So looking in that direction over there, I thought the Fort Worth location was a really good location. Even San Angelo was a good location. And there are quite a few others. Texas is huge. So we need to get that one more and solidify that moving forward. And then up north, we already have another team coming in that I'm very excited about. And I think there we want to find something that, if you look at the geography of it, because we're going to have our headquarters based in Indianapolis. If you look at that area there as like the center of the Northern Division, that's another one there. But I will tell you, moving forward, the amount of interest I'm already getting is also in some other regions. So knowing that, hey, if we can get 4 in a market, that's a division, and that's how we can move forward in a strong fashion.
What does the ideal owner look like to you?
It looks like local, networked, somebody that works well with another group of owners, right? Wants to come in and be in our regular meetings and is able to take the blueprint and really do it as the foundation of what it is they're building in their community. We've noticed that in cases where the blueprint was not followed, that was the demise of a particular team getting started. So I think a team player, it's a team sport. So we want to make sure everything is set up that way properly.
Walk us through the process. How does someone actually become an owner in the COFL?
First off, Michael, they reach out to us. And when you go to the website, the COFLfootball.com, Continental.com, there is a tab up there called ownership. And when you go into the ownership tab in and of itself, you'll see a button right there that says, hey, you want to schedule an appointment to talk about a potential team. And then I get an email at that point. I reach out via text, and then we have what I call a discovery call. This is what we're about. Who are you? We start the vetting process. And then if the call is something that we feel like, hey, we'd like to move forward and get a little deeper into it, then the next phase is I'll have a Zoom call where I'm even more transparent about everything and share with them all the parts of running a team in the Continental Football League. Financials are in there, all that. So you'll know the financial commitment, what it takes from there. We actually will analyze that market for them and give them some preliminary ideas. And once that gets moving, if it looks like our research says, hey, this is a good ownership group and a good market, I'll reach back out to our other owners, and then we'll make a decision if we want to move forward at that point. And then if that's the point, then there's certainly a buy-in fee. And then we have set things up where it's a much easier barrier of entry, where an ownership group can get in, get things running, and start to generate their market at a high level.
Why did you decide to move the league headquarters to Indianapolis?
Well, first off, Indianapolis has so many positives. I know when I was out there going out to try to help other markets, I noticed that Indianapolis, there's a reason it's called Sports City, USA. You also have Grand Park. They're the largest outdoor sports complex in the United States. You're talking 22 football fields. You're talking an indoor that has 3 full, basically 100-yard fields in there, and so much more. And I think there was something there when I went out there that I was able to build some relationships that told me that, hey, the Teamsters would be excited to get involved. The variety of trade unions want to get involved. So that and various independent companies in Indianapolis were excited about this. And the timing is right, because the Indianapolis Colts have been at Grand Park for their training camp for many years. And this is the summer of 2026 is the last year that they are going to be there, because they're building a new complex. So bringing in the Continental Football League and what is going to happen from there, having all that together for us, is a very special time, we feel, for the Continental Football League to say, hey, this is our headquarters. This is where we're going to be based.
What does the partnership with Grand Park mean for the league?
Well, I look at it this way. Grand Park being that showcase piece for the league, having a partnership with them where we can have various events, and also in placing a team there, that's also a very positive piece there as well. So knowing that Grand Park historically has been a soccer, baseball, and now lacrosse facility where people are using that. And now we come in with the Continental Football League as the football arm of this. I see that as super positive. I'm seeing down the road having, actually pretty soon, showcases, combines, various other pieces of building the league from there, and also looking at some other satellite events around the country as well. But I think Grand Park makes it perfect. They want us, and certainly we want that type of exposure to have a place that is our headquarters in a city like Indianapolis, where, look, the NFL Combine is in Indianapolis. There's a whole lot of meetings that go through there. They've been playing the Big Ten championship right in Indianapolis. There's so many things there for us. And I think that partnership with Grand Park just solidifies it.
You've seen success in WeFunder through teams like the San Antonio Toros. Are you open to people investing in the league itself, not just individual teams?
I've had actually a number of people that have reached out, hey, how can I invest in the league? It's something that myself and the other owners were going to look at this and see, oh, what if we do put a WeFunder up for the league, and how could that help us really expand what it is we're building? So totally open to that. I think what San Antonio did is we had set them out to blaze that trail of crowdfunding, has told us it can be successful. Imagine if anybody anywhere can get involved in the league. We would think if we all pool our resources together, people that invested in San Antonio, it's only as good as the Continental Football League. So why wouldn't you want to get in that as well? So we have that. We also have some others that I'm visiting with right now, people that would like to independently invest outside of a crowdfunding campaign. And those are some things I'll be looking at through the summer and into the fall. And the key is bringing in the right people.
What would an investment opportunity in the league as a whole look like?
Well, outside of the WeFunder, which we know that's what's called a safe investment, where we analyze the worth of the league as far as future equity moving forward, then you get a percentage of the league if it was built that way. So that's one option. The other piece is what we would look at is a Schedule A investor that comes in at some potentially higher levels, a group of people that can join right in. We would be very selective as who we would let into that group. And thinking that if somebody's going to come in and have a minority ownership in the league from that perspective, we're looking at things like, hey, what's their connections? How can they help us build out some things? It's not just financial. It's more, oh, okay, I played in the National Football League, or I'm a personality that can bring more to the Continental Football League. We want people that can help us out to be involved at that level. So that's all on the table right now. We're discussing it, and I think it gives us a chance to build up enough capital to make this happen. Because look, Michael, there's no doubt about it. You have to be capitalized properly from a financial standpoint to make this work. This money just doesn't come out of thin air. We feel our concept is one that with proper capitalization, we can really take this thing and run with it.
Thank you, Manny.